Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're doing another Un-Briiliant games. So today our main protagonist is called IPlayTooManyGames, and his opponent is Shanma23. So IPlayTooManyGames starts off with e4 and e5. This is very normal so far. Then I have free, and the first mistake of the game, f6. You see, f6 is called the Damiano's defense, and it's really the only opening that has a name, but is losing on the spot. The reason why this is losing is because f6 is just not a good move. It's like, as a general rule of thumb, don't play f6. It blocks your knight's natural development square, and also weakens this diagonal. You can immediately exploit this by playing the move knight takes e5. This seemingly loses a knight, but after he takes back, you can play queen to h5 check. If he plays g6, you will take on e5, check, and you will take the rook next move. If he plays king to e7, then you will take on e5 anyways, king to f7, bishop c4. And although you are down a piece, your attack is extremely strong. His king is on g6 by move, by move 6, and you continue with d4, queen f5. In fact, the computer says it's already mate in 11. Okay, anyways, back to the game. IPlayTooManyGames plays bishop c4. Unfortunate that he misses this tactic. And now d5. So notice that Shanma really likes pawns. He's played e5, f6, and d5. d5 is definitely not a good move. It loses the pawn two different ways, and the queen does not actually defend the pawn. So IPlayTooManyGames captures the free pawn, and now Shanma plays another pawn move. Instead of developing his 4 minor pieces, he instead plays another pawn move. In this case, I would just develop or castle. Actually, yeah, knight c3 is probably best, defending your pawn, developing, but taking is fine. And now black makes another pawn move and takes with the pawn. You see, the whole point of playing c6 is that you can play knight takes c6 and get a piece out, and now you can complete your development. But now after bc6, you voluntarily damage your pawns. Don't develop your knight. Look what black has done. He's played every move he's made is a pawn move, and he has developed no pieces. White has developed 2, is ready to castle and strike open the center. So white is definitely a lot better here. So after a disaster in the opening, white starts to make some blunders. Knight e3, this is still fine. Knight h6. Well, in the opening, the knight has 3 possible squares it can go to. Towards the king, towards the center, or towards this edge. As you might know the saying, knights on the rim are dim. So that means knight h6 is the worst move, knight e7 is a better move, but knight to f6 is the best move. In this case, I would play knight to e7 instead of knight to h6, or even bring my bishop out first. Knight h6, white castles. White is playing really well, by the way. This is almost perfect play. Bishop c5. Black finally starts waking up and develops some pieces. Knight e4, hitting the bishop. Bishop back to b6. You might be wondering, how is this an Un-Briiliant Games? Sure, black played a little bit weirdly, but this isn't like that crazy. Well, you're in for a treat. b3, the first weird move. If I were white, I would say, I am castled, my king is safe, his king is not safe, I have all my pieces in the center, so what should I do to attack his king? d4. Crack it all open. If he takes, you can play a rook e1, lining up an attack. And suddenly, even though you've sacrificed a pawn, your pieces are extremely active and his king is extremely weak. So after d4, I'm pretty sure white is just completely crushing. White plays b3, trying to develop his bishop to b2. I don't hate it. Bishop f5, hitting the e4 knight. Now white plays another inaccurate move, d3. The problem with this is that once black takes, black just traded a lot of pieces. When you are up in development, where you have more pieces in the center, they're more active, you have a advantage, but it's very short-lived.
Life is short. Try to do something new every day. Dance. dance. Try to dance as much as you can.
You have to make use of it, which is why d4, the previous move, is such a good move. Because it opens up the center so your pieces become really active and useful in attacking the king. However, after you trade pieces, the more you trade, the less your initiative is. Think about it like this. A few moves ago, this bishop was garbage. It saw very little squares and it's not developed. Your knight is extremely powerful, sitting in the middle of the board. Once you trade it off, and you trade queens as well, your advantage is diminishing as you trade more of your active pieces for his non-active pieces. Anyways, white, instead of playing, instead of like moving his knight away to continue his initiative, he plays d3. Black plays bishop knight d7, and white plays a really, really awful move, d4. d4, I cannot even...
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man.
To explain this move. You just, think about it logically. You just moved your pawn here. The whole point of this is to defend your knight and open up your bishop. The next move, you push your pawn again. If you wanted to play d4, you can just do it now and hang your knight. But instead of doing that, you waste a move and then hang your knight. This makes so little sense. Black takes the knight, of course. White drops back, hitting the bishop. Black offers a trade. Good move. Because now, as the more you trade, the safer your king gets. Taking on the center, trying to open things up. Knight takes. Bishop b2. Still, black should just take this and trade more pieces since he's up a piece. Knight g4. I don't like this move. It opens up the e-file, and this knight is not doing much. So white is getting a little bit of initiative back. Knight f3. I would play rook e1 check here, by the way, or queen e2. Just trying to attack on the e-file. Knight f3, trade. And now, white is actually better, because these bishops are incredibly strong. The two center files are open for the taking, and black's king is extremely weak. Knight e4, trying to take some pressure off himself as he forces the trade. But here, white plays a good move. Queen h5 check, in between move. Attacking the king. Here you can also play rook e1, pinning the knight, and threatening to take a next move. Queen h5. If g6, then you just take the knight on h6. So he has to move his king. And now you see the problem. Since black did not develop adequately in the opening, his king is now extremely in danger. And now white, even though being down a piece, he has a massive initiative. Bishop takes e5 and takes here. I love this. I mean, white is playing brilliantly. He's chopping off the active knight and winning a pawn, continuing the attack. King f8, rook d1. But now black plays a great defensive move. Queen to f6. Threatening to take on f2 and forcing a queen trade. White refuses a queen trade correctly. And now black has to find the weird move rook to e8, getting a tempo before taking on f2. The reason why is because once you take on f2, this is just a pawn. And this pawn was actually acting in your favor, as it was blocking the f-file for white's rooks. If white's rook was here and this pawn was gone, you would be in serious trouble. But since black voluntarily opens the f-file for just a simple pawn, white has now rook f1 threats, rook e1 threats, and black's king is in serious danger. Rook e8, white takes another free pawn, and now black blunders. Knight to g4, and white plays the move rook f1, pinning the queen to the king. White wins the queen, and now it's smooth sailing, right? White is just up a queen, has a massive initiative, can attack the weak black king. It's over, right? Yep. Let's play some moves. Bishop b5. Bishop b5 has a very clear threat of trying to win the rook, but actually this blunders a draw to knight f2 check, king g1, knight g4. You can never move to f1 because knight takes h2 is actually checkmate. All of these squares are covered. So you have to move back to h1, and this is a draw. However, this guy is 800, so I don't I don't think he'll actually see that. So instead of that, black plays king to g7, h3, check, moves. I wouldn't. First of all, okay, this is instructive. When your opponent gives you a check, you have two options. Move to the square that does not have a discovered check in it. King g1 is pretty lucky here because none of these discovered checks actually win any material. Actually, I lied. Knight takes h3 does win material, but yeah. So don't run into discovered checks like this. If I were white, I would play to h2. Anyways, black chooses this square to give the discovered check and moves back to e5. Queen b7, king here. White takes the free rook, plays rook f1, attacking the f6 pawn. Black fails to defend it, and now white is just up 6 points of material, comfortably winning. Rook to e1, searching for some threats on the first rank, but there really is none. But now white decides, instead of just winning this game, no, I'm going to play a Botez gambit by playing the brilliant move, queen to g7 check. There is not a single move in this position that is even worse. Like, g7, the king just moved from g7. The king covers the square g7. It just went from f8, if you scroll back, f8 to h6. So the king covers g7. But instead of that, you play queen g7. For what? This is like the most brain dead move. But black, being the giga cat he is, declines the queen sacrifice with king to g5.
Ah, shit.
Like, what? You had one job. And you play forward? I mean, like, absolutely terrible. White gave you, it's like you have a free pass to like winning $1 million, and then you're like, nah, I'll turn you down. King g5. And now white, to his credit, finds checkmate sequence with h4 check, drawing the king forward. King slides to h5, queen h7, only move king to g4, queen g6, only move to take on h5, and g3 pawn checkmate.
Tidy whities, still? Face it, you're out of moves, Woo.
Oh, yeah? How about this one? Oh. I call it the cage monkey.
Got to be kidding me.
It's a great ending, but terrible play here. Like, what? Huh? Like, what? Huh? Like, why queen g7? I can't, like, I don't know. These are 800s, man. They barely know how to play chess, but like, God, that ending was incredible. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.